In this first frame, the first to 10 will take the title and the £200,000 first prize, £70,000 to the loser. Well, Tony Drago has won the right to break off. The man who hurtles so quickly around the table, if you blink, you're in danger of missing a shot. And taking on here then Jimmy White, playing as consistently really as at any time in his illustrious career. He's won his last 2 major tournaments and hoping here for the hat-trick against Tony Drago. They've only met once before in a professional tournament, in a ranking tournament, and Tony Drago was the victor on that occasion. And there we see Jimmy White's progress to the final, and in particular that epic semi-final against James Watanabe from Thailand. And we have heard, incidentally, that James, sad to report, is suffering from chicken pox, so if he had got through to the final, he would not have been able to take part.
Foul stroke.
Well, a miss.
4 and a miss. Tony Drago.
Hi, Jimmy White. But Mike Watterson alongside me here. What was your reaction there, looking at the 2 players beforehand? How relaxed or otherwise did you think they were?
Well, both obviously very tense, but of the 2, I think Jimmy looked the cooler. And that miss that Jimmy played, referee Lenganley replaced the ball. Yes. He must make contact.
Well, there will be, I'm sure, a few butterflies out there with these 2 players. So much at stake. Tony Drago in his first major final. And he was so thrilled to reach this stage and to play against one of his heroes, Jimmy White.
So, Peter, first blood to Jimmy White.
Six. Seven.
So with Jimmy faced with this corner pocket shot on the red, a screw shot maybe down, possibly for the blue again.
13.
Well, he's overshot the blue, so the brown ball.
$17.
Jimmy, the deadliest of rest players. When he started playing snooker, he was such a small chap that he was playing most of his shots with the rest, so he became very proficient. Jimmy, perhaps here a little unlucky. Overshooting position. Yes, Peter, rather unlucky there. It looks as though he's frozen on top of that pink.
$21, Jimmy White.
So Jimmy couldn't hit the red.
Safety shot from Tony Drago. And here then back at the table, Jimmy White, who was saying beforehand he felt that perhaps he had a psychological advantage having won his last two tournaments. But then again, he said Tony will be so fired up in his first major final, it might even things out.
Well, and that interesting little flick by the cue ball on the brown there puts Tony in quite a lot of trouble. Several loose reds.
Tony Drago, who's really established himself as a world-class player in the last 3 years, 25 years old, world ranking 30, but provisionally he's up to 23 for the next season.
Foul stroke, 7, Jimmy White.
And Tony there trying to negotiate that snooker from 3 cushions. And the merest fraction out, but 7 points against him.
Just seeing there the progress that Tony made to the final, and he came through against the Welshman Darren Morgan in the semi-final.
One.
So Tony Drago pots his first red. And a rather nervous push at that from Tony. He'll just be wanting to settle himself down a little.
Don't think he'll change his style of play though, Mike. He only knows one way to play, and he will most certainly adopt that philosophy in this final.
That's so, Peter, but Jimmy has this red. Both players obviously showing signs of nerves, but early days. This match the first to 10.
1. Six.
Tony looking to see if this red ball will go, the closest one to the pocket, but no.
7.
Now the possibility of Tony coming in with a break. Plenty of loose reds.
12. 13.
And the cue ball just clipping that pink out of the way, leaving Tony enough room to remove that awkward green and get it back down onto its spot.
$16. 17.
Now Tony favours very strongly these pinks into centre pockets. And there we see a classic example
23.
of how to play them.
24.
All the game's top players.
30. 31.
So deadly when they get into close positions, but Tony overshoots the screw shot there.
$37.
So that pink ball takes him into a 14-point lead.
38.
And a delightful stun run through there from
44.
Tony carries him onto the red just above the black.
45.
And already Mikey's striding round the table with so much purpose.
Yes, he might need to try and clip that red away from the black spot there, Peter, so that it spots again. And he's played it beautifully.
52.
There's no time for the crowd to applaud him. He's preparing for the next
53.
shot so quickly. Break of 53 for Tony Drago.
60. 60. Tony Drago.
Well, now they can show their appreciation. Lightning break from Tony Drago.
Yes, 37 points in front and only 35 left on the table. James requires a snooker. But I somehow feel that he won't get that opportunity. Back comes Tony Drago.
1.
Instant sighting and instant reaction from Tony Drago. The quickest player
7.
the game has ever seen.
9. 9. And the frame.
So the first frame in such quick fashion to Tony Drago. We expected it would be a quick one, and the early signs are that's exactly how it's going to turn out. The first frame then to Tony Drago in the final here against Jimmy White.